what's your first name again?
Donovan.
Donovan. Okay, Donovan. So if this is you, right, you're tied to a captive agency here, right?
Correct.
Right. And so you represent them and their products. Yes?
Yes.
Okay. So when I say, can you scale horizontally or in depth, what I meant by that is if you're going to hire staff, agents to work with you, would they be all in a horizontal structure to the company like this, in this format like this?
Yeah.
Or can you hire somebody and then incentivize them to actually go out and hire people where they're actually getting a cut on that business, a bonus on the business that the whole unit does, because now they're out recruiting and building their own teams?
Based on what you're drawing, I could probably do it either way, because the small circle is the captive agency. I'm the big circle, which is, the company that I have. I could hire, the people to go out and I could pay them, or I could have one person that say, hey, I want to be in my business up under yours, and pay them as he bring people in, and say, hey, you are responsible to pay your own people. I can do that.
Well, if these guys are all being paid by you because you're captive, they would be what we would call LOA, or licensed only agents. Are you familiar with that term?
No.
Okay, so that means they would be licensed only, but the compensation gets paid to you, and then you pay the commission to your team.
Okay.
Right? Like in our business model, our agents that work with us are 1099. So we get an override based on total volume, but they get paid directly by the carriers, right?
Okay.
Which is the other model that you talked about. So depending on how much compensation that you have available that's coming to you here, right? That how far you can go with this is going to be determined by that.
Okay.
So if the compensation levels are thin for the agent, it gets hard to scale in depth this way, because once it gets down here, these guys are really not making enough money because there's not enough compensation to keep cutting the 25-cent piece into slices, right? It starts to get thin.
Exactly.
So, but you can scale this way.
Okay.
Right? You can scale that way and be profitable. So there's a lot of LOA agencies that scale horizontally like this. There's just more recruiting initiative on your end. You almost need a recruiter and an onboarder, someone that actually works with those people and brings them on and gets them trained in a specific area. But if you go this way, then you can actually retain a slightly bigger spread. You're not having to give it up to somebody who's down here trying to do this. You use a software program to scale that, but still the compensation has to be correct enough. And what's going to motivate these people is they are going to be motivated by a paycheck initially when they come in. Like they want a small base of some kind, but then they got to have a performance option so that as they perform, they make more money. And so you got to build that model. So how would you do that? I would get around some other people who built a similar model, and I would go and fly and get in the room with those people, and I'd pick their brains. And I would say, how is your model structured? How are you successful? How do you make this work? And Cody and I both can think of several people that we can probably put you in touch with that can kind of give you an idea of what that LOA model looks like. Like I have the same friends of ours who run that big ACA successful company in Houston. They have an LOA model where all the agents report directly to them. They're paid, but then they pay their staff, and they use systems, they have software, and they're expanding, rapidly. So they're in full hiring mode right now, and they have a very similar structure to you.
Okay. I appreciate it.
Yeah. I don't know if that fully answers your question, but again, I would get in the room with somebody who's done that, focus on building an LOA model under your platform. The only other option is for you to not be captive anymore, restructure the way you're doing business, and find a home where you can do that. And then you can build through a 1099 platform.
Right. Yeah, that made a lot of sense. And like when you said going vertical versus horizontal, I just, based on where I am right now, the horizontal is gonna have to be my focus right now. And I guess when I'm, in chat and listening to people and watching people and seeing people scale, because they've done it vertical, I'm trying to think of how can I do that vertical, but my structure, number one, not saying won't allow me, but it's not conducive for it. And the margins are too thin to go vertical. So I need to focus on the horizontal.
Correct. Yeah. And within your model, if you build somebody who's really successful, they're going to start saying, I'm already capped, and they're going to want to try to figure out how to go direct to your agency anyway. And then you end up losing them.
Right. And that's one of the programs I do want to put in place. I do have with, being a captive. If I bring someone in and they decide to become independent, then of course I'm incentivized to say, hey, talk to, Susie C, and she's doing very good. She's already got the business down packed. Then that person can get their own business started. And then of course they'll pay me for letting that person leave my company. So I do have that.
Are they paying you in perpetuity or a one-time bonus?
No, it's a one-time. Yeah.
Yeah. You want to get something that pays you in perpetuity, man.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I wouldn't want to do it, train everybody, invest in them for 2 years, then have them leave, and then they write you a check for $25,000 and then that's it. Like I can hire one agent and make 50,000. I don't want 25. I want the long-term investment return. Yeah.
Right. That makes sense. Okay. All right. Yep. I really appreciate it. Thanks.
All right. Cool.
Think about this, Julian. So if you've got, let's just say that you've got, and I'm not Theo and John and all this, but I understand the concept, right? So say you've got you, and then you recruit someone, and then they recruit someone, and they recruit someone. Okay. Here's what happens, right? So you've got these 4 different circles, right? Everybody can see me draw on circles. Okay. Most people just focus on the person beneath them, right below them. And that's the only person they help. That's the only person they think about. That's the only person they give focus to, because they're like, they're going to help the rest of the people. I don't need to help them, right? I don't need to help anybody else. The people that do it really well, the John Wetmores of the world, the Theos, etc., they skip. They help everybody, but they give a lot of attention to the person lower in depth, maybe even one more further, right? And so what happens is when they do that, if this person is successful, what happens?
It pushes everyone else.
This person. If they're getting a bunch of money from an override because this person is killing it, why would they ever quit? Correct. Right. So then you've really added stability. Oh, I hear Roger. You've added stability to the whole leg, because most people, and I've been guilty of this, by the way. I didn't realize this. I didn't understand how this whole stuff works. They focus on just this one person they brought in. When what about the person 4? And if you don't have people 4 legs deep, well then obviously that's what's going on. Well, the people that do, and then that person becomes successful, it trickles all the way up.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's true.
Yeah. For instance, like in this particular model right here, like back 7 years ago or whatever, you guys, any of you know my business partner, Chris Ball? One of my business partners, Chris Ball. Anybody know Chris? All right, good. Chris is an unbelievable human being. He actually recruited me to do youth ministry at our church, believe it or not, when my daughter, who's now 27th, was in the 7th grade. That's how long we've known each other. And he found himself displaced back in 2010 when they had the big mortgage market crash, and he was no longer there. His wife had just gotten a teaching position locally. They wanted to stay here in Louisville. And I ran into him again and I said, Chris, man, you got to come take a look at what I'm doing, right? I can help you. I said, it's easy to make $100,000, 6 figures, just no one's ever showed you how. And that kind of made him nervous. He was like, I've never sold anything in my life. I said, don't worry about that. I can teach you that. It's the leadership part that I'm looking for. And I brought my friend Chris into business. So if this is Chris right here, just watch this progression here a minute. This is Chris Ball. We helped Chris become successful. And then I said to Chris, who do you know? Who do you know? And he said, well, I know this lady, and her name is Patty, and she happens to be my mom. Okay, she happens to be my mom. And I said, how old's Patty? He goes, that doesn't matter. You're not supposed to ask that to people over 58, right? I said, oh, okay. And so she ends up getting in the business. And then, we did some training with her. She came down a road with Chris. And then I remember driving up to Michigan and getting in the car and literally going in houses and showing her how to become successful. And we did that. And then while I was up there, I also did a business overview so that we could help her hire some people. And we brought some other people on. Over a period of time, we brought 3 or 4 other people on. One of them was Chris's brother. That kept growing. And then another one, as we left, these people ran into a few little glitches. A few of them bailed out. But then just after that, another family friend came on board, and his name was Tim Wright. Tim Wright came on board. Well, Tim knew Chris from when he was in junior high. So Tim knew Chris and Patty from years ago. Then he gets in the business. Then he meets a girl in Texas who's an airline attendant, airline person. And then he moves down there to be with her down in Austin, Texas. And now Tim's growing the business. He's running ads and we're working with Tim. And every Thursday night we do an overview. Tim comes on and brings on this kid named Andrew Nar. And Andrew is, we just featured him last month. He just hit our our Ruby Sales Leaders Award. And the guy's 18 years old, just graduated high school in June. Right now I'm working with this guy, Andrew. And so I'm on the phone with Andrew at least once a week right now. And I'm treating Andrew as if he was Chris. And guys, we've got $1 million. We've got the business is good, right? But I'm treating Andrew like he's Chris because I'm working with Andrew now. We talk, we text, I message him, and I'm in communication with him. And if I treat him the same way, and now we're actually building that Andrew's team. So there's Thursday nights when it'll just be me and Andrew and 2 of his friends from Phoenix on the line, and we're showing them the business plan. Well, last week when I wasn't available, Chris showed the business plan to Andrew, had a guy by the name of Conrad from Phoenix see the business plan. And then Tim followed up with this kid, Conrad. And then they told him, oh, by the way, we're going to be in Houston at a Road to 8% event. You should come out and join us. And I paid for the tickets and he got on a plane and flew to Houston. And he was in Houston, Terrell, with you. It
was really getting good, Roger. It was getting so good. It was getting so good. So you can see you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Like it's starting to layer down.
Yeah. Let's take up a collection for this
Where
internet.
did you put my phone at, buddy?
Hey, Roger, what's your Venmo? We're all going to send you some money for some increased internet. Okay. Everybody cool if we pass around a plate for Roger's internet?
Dude, I've switched internet.
He can't even finish saying how many times he switched internet. That's how bad his internet is. Okay. I love Roger though. He handles it so gracefully. It's hilarious. He's more internet depth. That's
twice. Right. I'm on. That's me. That's connected to my phone. Can you guys hear me now?
We can. Either way, we love you. That's what matters.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just go.
Where was I when I dropped off?
You were on the bottom bubble with Conrad, and he flew to Houston.
So Conrad flew to Houston. Conrad flew to Houston. Guess who I was on the phone? Guess who I was on communication with today? Conrad.
Oh, Conrad. So I'll pick up. He was talking to Conrad on the phone today. Okay. Now I don't know what they talked about, but I guarantee he's going to help him sell some insurance. Okay. And then Conrad may recruit somebody, and then we have another bubble below Conrad. I'm wondering how deep this thing can go. Okay, that's what I'm wondering. Hey, if you love what you just saw, okay, that is an exclusive private group called the Rising Stars Mastermind that you have to be accepted. You have to apply and be accepted to be a part of. So we do a call like that every single Monday, and I want you to be on it. It's exclusive, it's behind the scenes, it's private, and we interview a power player every single week just like that, and they share their story, and they drop some massive bombs. I'm talking, think about getting access to the top 50 people in the entire industry, okay? And you're getting access to them as a part of this group every single week. So there's a link below in the description to apply to be a part of the Rising Stars Mastermind. Now, when you become a rising star, okay, because you believe in yourself, the number one thing you need is information. I'm gonna give you the information and motivation, accountability, and the network every single week together. Now, in the Rising Stars Mastermind, yes, you get the weekly call, okay, the weekly coaching call. You also get access to my sales system for an entire year. You also get access to every course that I've ever made forever. You also get to spend a day here in Springfield, Missouri with me. You also get a workshop event in the next year here in Springfield, Missouri as well. Okay, this Rising Star Mastermind comes with more value than we've ever put in any product before. And I can tell you that if you want to get to the next level, you want to be on private coaching calls like you just saw with massive power players that are going to get you to the next level, then stop what you're doing, click the link in the description, go apply, give us some information about you, and hopefully we'll see you on the inside. If you love this video, you know I got another one that you're gonna love. I got a video just to your right here. Click on that, it's gonna be amazing. You're gonna love it, and I'll see you in there. You guys also talk about, like, if you're not spending $1,000 a week in leads, and maybe your philosophy is a tad different. I just heard this recently from somebody else, that you're part-time.